every now and then I get to film or program or be involved in an activity that really, really makes a difference for a whole lot of people. Of course, there are smaller events that we, of course, support and try to familiarize the community with, but every now and then, something comes across my desk, some kind of opportunity comes up where I say, the entire community needs this, and this is something that's good, and something that can impact the entire community, and something that can help all of us, because part of it deals with education, but all of it deals with action. So I'm just so happy and so pleased to be able to bring you this show on heart health, heart education, and health, period. And again, I'm just very pleased to have with me a distinguished cardiologist in the person of Dr. Felix Sogade, who is being a part of a program called Spirit of the Heart. This is a national initiative, but it's right here in Macon, Georgia. And not to prolong it, but I really became very concerned when I read and trying to do a little homework, because he's the doctor, the cardiologist, so I want to at least seem a little intelligent. and I read up on on heart health and some statistics and what have you, and found that Central Georgia is worse off than 95% of the state.
Yes.
Is that correct, Doc?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very correct.
Yeah. So how you doing?
I am doing very well. Thank you, Mr. Basham, for having me on your program. And I must commend you for the way you bring events to the community and you raise awareness for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I want to commend you because this is something that you, as a member of the Association of Black Cardiologists, and I know how to spell it. I spell it wrong. I do know how to spell it. Are bringing this phenomenal weekend of activities to our community. So tell us about the association and the theme, and then give us some of the statistics and some of the activities that will be going on with Spirit of the Heart.
Yeah, the Association of Black Cardiologists is an organization that was formed in 1974 by 17 founding members who are all African American cardiologists. And the reason why this association was formed was because till today, the number of African Americans represented in the medical profession is still very low. The statistics is staggering. In most situations, less than 3% of all the physician workforce, healthcare workforce in the United States. In some part of the country, that statistics is even more staggering. And the concern is that when you have such a low representation, sometimes some of the issues that may affect certain communities may not be well addressed. And that leads to a problem we call disparity in healthcare, where irrespective of your socioeconomic status, the statistics have shown repeatedly that African Americans receive an inferior level of care, whether you could pay or not pay, whether you are educated or not. And this is an issue that has been recognized and well written about nationally. And the Association of Black Cardiologists is at the forefront of addressing this problem.
That is so outstanding. And I think sometimes we don't think about it. And the other thing that I like about it is that what you're doing is not only dealing with treatment, it's dealing with education and prevention.
Yes.
And you all got quite a few activities that's going to be going on. And let me just thank you.
Thank you.
And the association, because I'm going to let you talk about this health fair and the scare run and the outreach to the churches and what have you. But we need more of this.
Yes.
We need more entities that have resources and that can be impacted to reach out to our community.
Yes.
And I think, particularly for African Americans, I think we owe it to our community.
Yes.
Because we benefited from responsible people like you, our foreparents.
Yes.
And 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, who sacrificed,
Yes.
so that we could be sitting downtown on Hemlock Street
Yes.
in the office of a African American cardiologist and gynecologist,
Yes.
downtown Macon, Georgia. And 70 years ago, this would not have happened.
Yes.
So,
Irrespective of your race or background, the level of care that is received in this community is still very low. We still have a long way to go. Unfortunately, disproportionately, in every statistic that we look at, African Americans tend to fear the worst, especially African American men. Whether it's congestive heart failure, whether it's kidney failure due to high blood pressure, any of the major medical conditions, we know that the statistics tends to be worse in that particular demographic. And it's a problem that has been recognized. But what we're doing with the Spirit of the Heart is, what can we do about it? The Association of Black Cardiologists, which I became part of, has taken it as a challenge, at least in the field of cardiovascular health. That's high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and other related conditions, to do something about it. With the Spirit of the Heart, we're going to have community leaders in the healthcare. We have invited people from all the hospitals, the leadership from all the hospitals locally to come to the event. We have invited people from the medical school, Master School of Medicine. We have invited ministers in the community, and we have invited other people who work in the healthcare field, some people even in the business sector. People from the Air Force Base are going to be represented, so that we can all work collectively. Because I believe if our community is healthy, whether it's African American or any other race, it becomes a better community for all. Because economically, we will do better.
yes, sir.
If people are sick, they cannot be productive members of society. And if we can keep people healthy, then they can become very effective and productive members of community of the society. And our community will do better on the long run.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's talk specifically about the activities. I know I think it starts on Friday
It starts on
and
Friday.
goes through Sunday.
Yes.
And so you can give us the dates, and then you can let us know which activities are going to be on the respective dates.
On Friday, we have a dinner event at the Tubman Museum starting at 6:30, where all the community leaders and the healthcare and related parts of life will come together to have discussion about the scope of the problem and what can be done about it. And people that have spent a lot of time studying about this condition will be able to bring ideas. And this program is intended to bring everybody together so that we can recognize that this is a problem. And people who are willing to be part of this solution are invited to come to this event. And there are going to be different ideas, whether we're going to use telemedicine to reach some areas of our region in Middle Georgia that don't even have adequate physician offices or nurse practitioner. Or perhaps telemedicine or telehealth may reach some community.
What's telemedicine?
Telemedicine is where we set up a center whereby we train some local members of the community, and we put certain equipment with video, stethoscope that we can listen to somebody's heart remotely, ultrasound that they can image, and a specialist sitting perhaps in Macon or perhaps sometimes even anywhere else in the country may be able to diagnose and recommend treatment to that individual. Of course, there may be certain things that require travel, but at least the initial evaluation and people know the problem, then you can overcome that initial barrier, which I believe contributes to some of the poor outcomes we have in our community.
Oh, that's outstanding. So this will be, the Friday event will essentially be for the leadership and the participants.
Yes.
You know, in the conference. So
Yeah.
that's not the public.
On Saturday is the public. That event will be at the Centerplex, and we're expecting a big turnout. There are people who are going to come and just teach people on the proper nutrition, how to cook, what to cook, and what to eat. There are people who will come and give instructions on exercise. There are people who are going to come and check blood pressure and do cholesterol screening. There are people who will educate people about the immunizations, the vaccinations they should be getting at a certain age. There are people who will come and educate people about certain tests you should have done when you reach a certain milestone in your life. Whether you turn 50, you should get a colonoscopy. You turn 60, you should get an ultrasound to make sure you don't have an aneurysm. There are people who will be there. Some of the medical students from our community, some of the young doctors who are in training are going to be there. And we are doing it that way so that we can even get some of these young doctors to be thinking beyond the person sitting in front of them in their exam room, to be thinking on the bigger scale about the community, looking at how well is our community doing. Because in medicine, we have all concentrated on treating that one individual. But with some of the changes with the healthcare law, a lot of systems are being encouraged to think on a bigger scale about the community health. So that's part of what this program will help us to achieve. And on Sunday, we call it a message from the pulpit, where some of our doctors, along with the ministers that have been identified, will also now deliver a message to the church congregations or places of worship, where we will do a follow-up where people can get the same message. But one of the important things that the Association of Black Cardiologists has championed is a program called Children Should Know Their Grandparents.
Say that again?
Children should know their grandparents.
Okay.
And perhaps their great-grandparents too. And the encouragement we have is that as young people, young families will say, oh, I have raised my children, I am done. But we know it goes more than that, that people should fight to stay around for their grandparents, for their grandchildren. But also, I encourage the grandparents to show love to their grandchildren by taking care of themselves. Because I'm okay, but please keep your doctor's appointment. Take your grandchildren sometimes with you to the visit. It's a way of educating people from a very young age.
Oh, that's absolutely phenomenal. One thing you mentioned, and I think oftentimes people don't realize the correlation between heart disease, high blood pressure, and diabetes.
Yes.
Talk about how they kind of work together.
Yes. High blood pressure is a situation where the blood pressure for most people should be a number called 120/70. That is the goal that we shoot to get blood pressure to. For most people, some people you may have to go a little bit higher, some people a bit lower, but that's the center point of the range that we shoot for. And there are so many conditions that can cause high blood pressure. For a lot of people, it's because there is high blood pressure in the family line. And that is very common, especially in the African American community. Also, some of our dietary patterns contribute to that. We generally eat way too much salt, and cutting back our salt intake is very important. And also, when we exercise and more active, it relaxes the blood vessels and the blood pressure tends to go down. And when we exercise, we also raise our metabolism. We burn glucose more. And then that, if we live that type of lifestyle,
You're gonna make me leave here and go to the gym, doc.
that's the purpose. You're going to.
I know you're talking to me.
You're going to be a champion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're going to be a champion for the program. Yes.
Sir.
And then diabetes is when the blood sugar is too high. So these two conditions together, the high blood pressure, because the pressure is high, it erodes the lining inside the blood vessel. And the blood vessel also tries to protect itself by squeezing down. And that slowly, the damage to the lining, the diabetes with high blood sugar floating around, leads to high cholesterol. It damages and the abnormal deposits start forming inside the blood vessels, that it starts narrowing, and that leads to kidney failure. People lose their leg because they don't have circulation, and if you don't get circulation to the leg gets cut off. It may end up in a heart attack, or it may end up in a stroke. Sometimes some people are not even aware they have the problem till it's too late. So as part of the program we're doing with Spirit of the Heart is to do some screening for some of these conditions.
At this event?
At this event, we're going to do some screening for some of this program. And also we will educate people about what they should go get checked. Because we're not going to be able to do everything there because some of them require certain equipment, but at least people will do some screening at this event, and people are going to also know what to do when they leave that event. That's why I'm involving the medical students, the residents, and other doctors to come and talk on the one-on-one, if possible, with several of the attendees at this community event.
So there are a lot of things that people can take upon themselves, that we can take upon ourselves to do as it relates to being healthier. And then if in fact we have some questions about programs or activities in which we should be involved, then this will be a good resource, you know, to come and learn. You're going to have all these resources there. Everybody needs to be there. We'll be right back.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Felix Sogade. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist in Macon, Georgia. I'm also a family physician. I want to use this forum to encourage all the women out there in Middle Georgia to attend this American Black Cardiologist event called the Spirit of the Heart event. Please attend the health fair, attend the 5K race. I'll be running myself in the race. And this is because heart disease is very common in women. 1 in 3 women will die of heart disease. And in addition to coming for your pap smears and your mammograms, don't forget to check your hearts so that we can all be alive and healthy and doing all the things we like to do. Thank you.
We're back. I'm Alex Haversham, and this is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Haversham, as I said, and I am more than a little excited to be interviewing Dr. Felix Sogade, who's a cardiologist and a member of the Association of Black Cardiologists, which is a phenomenal organization, and the reason they are phenomenal is that they are unselfish to the extent that they are trying to educate the community about heart education and health. And I want to encourage everybody, you know, because, you know, too often, Doc, you know, we kind of ignore, we don't get tested, we put it off, and then, you know, it's kind of like a cavity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't take care of it, you know, you're going to lose your tooth sooner or later. And the same applies to your body.
Yes.
And sometimes we think, why do they call it the silent killer?
Because oftentimes people do not know any problem is going on. They are going about their life and all of a sudden they just collapse, and sometimes people die instantly.
And that's from a heart attack.
From a heart attack or cardiac arrest.
Yes, sir.
And 40% of it happens during sleep. So people they're not even say, they are not even active, they don't even know. So that's why it's called a silent killer.
And the other interesting fact is that, and I read in the literature that you distributed, is that a large percentage of, of strokes and heart attacks and things of that nature is avoidable.
Yes.
Is avoidable. And I think that's why you want to make the case again for everybody to come to your health fair.
Yes. Because it's avoidable, and actually we are planning a campaign called A Day Without Stroke. Can we go a day without stroke in our community? And that requires for everybody to be aware of their blood pressure, their heart rhythm. It's a tall order, because I can tell you every single day in the hospital, multiple people come in with a stroke. A stroke is debilitating. People lose the ability to care for themselves. And some of the strokes leave people in such a state that you cannot even take yourself to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, you can't even wipe yourself. So a stroke is not a benign condition. It is very important for people to take steps to prevent it.
Yes.
And the steps are very simple. Know your blood pressure, know your numbers. Your blood pressure number, your cholesterol number, and also oftentimes a test of your heart function called the ejection fraction. And when you know those numbers, your blood glucose number, what we call hemoglobin A1C, there are so many numbers that it's very easy to get. Because when we know that when you know those numbers, and those numbers stay within a certain range, it puts you in a category as somebody who does not have any of those conditions. High blood pressure, we'll talk about it, is one of the biggest contributors to every aspect of cardiovascular disease.
Now let me ask you this. Now, at this fair, because I know you're going to do some testing with some on-site results, and that's why I'm encouraging everybody to come.
Yes.
Because if you've been, look, we're going to tell children, now Dr. Sogade said he wants the grandparents to stay healthy, so they can help to raise and be with their grandchildren.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking to the children now.
Yes.
You want to tell your parents,
Yes.
to be healthy so they can see the grandchildren.
Yes.
And oftentimes, for many reasons.
Yes.
Sometimes individuals don't have the resources.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't have, notice I said we don't have the mindset, or the determination, or the motivation, to see about ourselves.
Yes.
And that's why I applaud ABC, for what you're doing. So what I'm saying is that the grandchildren need to tell the parents, and the parents need to tell their parents to come to this health fair.
Yes.
Because you can get, and then FREE.
Yeah.
It's free.
That's the cheapest one.
It's free. So
Yes.
that would be an excellent opportunity. And we don't want to miss the 5K run. Talk about SCARE.
SCARE is an event that we started here in Middle Georgia, and it's become something that other communities in the United States are emulating. Where we do, SCARE stands for Sudden Cardiac Arrest, Research and Education. And sudden cardiac arrest is the condition I described. A lot of people mistaken it for heart attack, thinking I will have a warning, I will have some type of chest pain, or I may feel dizzy. Sometimes those warnings are there, but we often ignore it. But sudden cardiac arrest is when somebody just is walking down the street and they just fall over and they are gone. Wow. And so what we do is that during this event, we educate the community about what to watch out for, because oftentimes there are warning signs that people ignore. And then the proceeds from this event, over the last 7 years, we have used the proceeds from this event to place what we call automatic external defibrillators. That is the machine that if somebody's heart stops, you shock it, to use to jumpstart it back. That gives an opportunity for somebody to make it to the hospital. Because for each 1 minute somebody is down, the chance they will survive is less than 10%. So by the time somebody is down for 10 minutes, that chance is almost zero. But imagine somebody goes down, you call 911, ambulance gets in there, they start driving, they get there, they come to the apartment. Each minute, this takes time. And in some of our communities, the ambulance is far away. So it's very important for the community to have what we call AEDs to be positioned. Through our organization, through the Georgia Arrhythmia Consultants and this organization called SCARE that we started here in Middle Georgia, we have placed these AEDs in all the high schools in Bibb County.
Wow.
We have
You're talking about that machine?
That machine we have donated to all the high schools in Bibb County. We have donated to all the middle schools in Bibb County. We have donated to several churches. We have donated to the parks. We have donated to the soccer field. We've donated to the park in Jones County. And one of the AEDs in the first year was actually used to rescue a gentleman. And so these AEDs make a difference because it gives a chance between somebody dying and somebody surviving.
And you're gonna have a 5K run, in support of the SCARE. And when is that gonna be?
That is going to be on the 22nd of October.
Of October.
Yes.
Now that's the same day as the health fair?
It's the same day. We start with that 5K in the morning.
Right.
At 8 o'clock at the Okmulgee Mounds.
Right.
And the MC for that event is a gentleman named Lamont Rocker. Many of the people in the community may know him. Lamont is an actor with several of the Tyler Perry movies, and he's also done a lot of other movies, so many people know Lamont Rocker. He's going to be here in Macon, possibly from Friday evening, and he's going to be with us throughout the weekend because he's also doing a lot of work with the Association of Black Cardiologists to raise awareness about heart disease.
Well, believe it or not, our time is up, but let me again, praise you and ABC for all that you are doing in our community. We appreciate it. And you've just educated and motivated me.
Yes.
So, check your numbers. And then if you need to know more about your numbers, and if you want to get your numbers checked, you can get them checked FREE. and the health fair, ABC's health fair, which is going to be at the Centroplex on October the 21st.
Yes.
Or the
October 22nd.
22nd, starting at 8 a.m. in the morning. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Hamersham. Have a great day, and we'll see you over there getting your heart checked. Have a good one.
Thank you very much.
www.makingblackpages.com